Mei Lin kept her head down as she walked through the metal doors of Lincoln High School. At 16, she was small and slight, with long black hair that fell like a curtain around her face. Her oversized sweater swallowed her frame, which was exactly what she wanted. Stay invisible. Don't let anyone see who you really are. The hallways buzzed with chaos, shouting voices, slamming lockers, students moving in tight groups. Mei navigated toward the main office, clutching her schedule like a lifeline. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. Excuse me, are you lost? A middle-aged woman with kind eyes appeared beside her. Her name tag read, Ms. Jacobs, English. I'm looking for the main office, Mei said quietly. First door on your right, honey. If you need anything, my classroom is 204. Ms. Jacobs studied her with the practiced eye of a teacher who'd seen too many kids trying to disappear. Mei found her locker wedged between a bathroom and a janitor's closet. As she fumbled with the combination, voices drifted from nearby. Look at the new girl, someone said with amusement. Bet she doesn't last a week. She looks like she's about to cry, a female voice added. This is going to be fun. Mei opened her locker and busied herself arranging textbooks, hoping they would lose interest. But she could feel their eyes studying her like predators sizing up prey. Hey, new girl. The voice was confident, used to being obeyed. Mei turned to see a tall boy with blonde hair and an easy smile that didn't reach his eyes. Two other students flanked him, a girl with perfectly straightened brown hair and a lanky boy who looked uncomfortable. I'm Jason, the blonde boy said, stepping closer than necessary. Jason Brooks, I basically run this place. I'm Mei, she replied quietly. Mei? The brunette wrinkled her nose. What kind of name is that? It's Mei, Mei. Whatever, I'm Chloe, and this is Marcus. She gestured to the lanky boy. We were wondering where you transferred from. You don't exactly look like you belong here. I transferred from St. Catherine's, Mei said simply. Jason's eyebrows shot up. Private school? What happened? Did mommy and daddy run out of money? The words hit like a physical blow. Mei's books slipped in her grip, and she fumbled to catch them. Jason's smile widened. Touched a nerve, did I? Let me guess, scholarship kid who couldn't cut it anymore. I need to get to class, Mei said. Quietly. Oh, she has somewhere important to be, Chloe mocked. How precious. Jason stepped aside with an exaggerated bow. Don't let us keep you, princess. Mei walked away on unsteady legs, their laughter following her down the hall. Her hands were shaking, not with fear, but with the effort of keeping control. Her mother's training whispered in the back of her mind, but she pushed those thoughts away. That wasn't who she was anymore. 3 days later, Mei had developed a routine. Arrive early, keep her head down, eat lunch alone in the corner where the fluorescent light flickered. It wasn't perfect, but it was survivable. She should have known it wouldn't last. Well, if it isn't the ghost girl. Mei didn't look up from her sandwich. The cafeteria had grown quieter around their table, sensing drama coming. I'm talking to you, Jason said, his voice carrying across the room. He stood directly across from her with Chloe and Marcus flanking him. It's rude to ignore people when they're trying to be friendly. Mei took another bite and chewed slowly. Don't react. Don't give him what he wants. Oh my God, she really is a ghost, Chloe laughed. She can't even hear us. Jason slid uninvited into the seat across from Mei. Tell us, what's it like being invisible? Must be lonely. Mei finally looked up. I'm trying to eat lunch. There. She is. Jason clapped his hands. The mysterious transfer student speaks. You know, I've been asking around about you. Nobody knows anything. It's like you don't exist. He leaned forward. That makes me curious. See, I don't like mysteries. There's nothing mysterious about me, Mei replied evenly. Really? Chloe moved to Mei's side of the table, cornering her. Because word is you came from St. Catherine's. That's a fancy school. So what's a St. Catherine's girl doing slumming it here? The question hung in the air. Mei could feel watching eyes students had turned to get a better view of the confrontation. Jason reached across the table and plucked a chip from her tray, popping it into his mouth. These are good. Mind if I have another? Without waiting for an answer, he took another chip, then another. Mei watched, jaw clenched, as he systematically ate her lunch. You know what I think? Jason said. I think you're hiding something. Maybe you got kicked out. Maybe you did something bad. Leave her alone. The voice was quiet but firm. Mei looked up to see the girl from her history class, curly hair and kind eyes. She stood nearby with her lunch tray, looking nervous but determined. Well, look who's decided to play hero, Jason said. Sophia, right? I don't remember asking for your opinion. She's just trying to eat lunch, Sophia said, her voice wavering but holding steady. Why don't you leave her alone? Why? Don't you mind your own business? Chloe snapped. Sophia's eyes met Mei's, and Mei saw understanding, their recognition of what it felt like to be on the outside. It's okay, Mei said quietly. You don't have to. Yes, she does, Jason interrupted, standing and stepping toward Sophia. She inserted herself into this. Now she gets to deal with the consequences. The cafeteria tension ratcheted up. Mei's training kicked in, automatically cataloging exits, assessing threats. She could end this in seconds. But then the whispers would start again, the fear in people's eyes, the questions about her past. Just leave us alone, Mei said instead, her voice barely above a whisper. Jason laughed harshly. Or what? Face it, ghost girl, you're nothing. You're invisible because you don't matter. Mei stood up, gathered her things, and walked away. Her half-eaten lunch remained on the table like a small surrender. Telling and preparing this story took us a lot of time. So if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. Sophia's footsteps followed her into the hallway. Wait, Mei, wait. Mei stopped, hands shaking with suppressed adrenaline. You shouldn't have done that. You'll only make it worse for yourself. I couldn't just watch, Sophia said. I know what it's like to be invisible. They'll come after you now, Sophia shrugged, trying to look brave. Let them. At least I'll know I did the right thing. For the first time since arriving at Lincoln, Mei felt something other than isolation. Thank you, she said quietly. Want to sit together tomorrow? Mei hesitated. Getting close to people meant they could get hurt. But the alternative was facing this alone. Okay, tomorrow. The harassment escalated with surgical precision. Monday brought a superglued locker. Tuesday was accidentally spilled coffee on her homework. Wednesday was the bathroom incident, Chloe and two other girls cornering her, testing boundaries. Where are you going? The tall blonde girl blocked Mei's path to the door. We just want to talk. Yeah, Chloe added. We're curious why you think you're better than everyone else. I don't think that, Mei said quietly. Sure you do. Walking around like you're too good to participate. The blonde stepped closer. Nobody here is impressed, Mei's pulse quickened. 3 against 1 in an enclosed space. When the blonde girl grabbed her arm, something triggered in Mei's nervous system, her mother's voice. Sharp and commanding, never let them put hands on you. For a split second, Mei's training took over. Her body shifted into a defensive stance, weight balanced, free hand rising. The blonde girl's eyes widened at the sudden change in Mei's demeanor. Then reality crashed back. These weren't trained fighters. They were high school bullies. If Mei hurt one of them, everything would change. Her past would come to light. Her promise to her mother would be broken. She forced herself to relax, to go limp. Please let go of me. The blonde held on longer, confused by the transformation she'd witnessed. then released Mei with a shove. Freak. That night, alone in her bedroom, Mei stood before the heavy bag her mother had installed years ago. She hadn't touched it since the funeral, but now her fists itched with suppressed violence. She unwrapped the hand wrap slowly, muscle memory guiding her movements. Left hand first, then right, the fabric tight across her knuckles. Her mother had taught her this ritual when she was 8. "Preparation is everything, little warrior," her mother had said in Mandarin. "The fight begins before you ever throw a punch." Mei's first strike was tentative, but the familiar impact awakened something sleeping. Her second punch was harder. Soon she was flowing through combinations, jab, cross, hook, uppercut, moving around the bag with fluid grace. She lost herself in the rhythm, in the precision honed through years of practice. This was who she really was, not the quiet girl who let bullies steal her lunch, but a fighter trained by one of the most respected underground champions in the city. A knock on her door startled her back to reality. "Everything okay in there, sweetheart?" Her aunt called. Mei quickly unwrapped her hands. "Fine, Aunt Sarah. Just doing homework." She sat on her bed and stared at the bag. She felt clearer, more centered, but also guilty. She'd promised her mother she would find a different way, but what if there was no other way? Thursday brought the cruelest test. Sophia was waiting at Mei's locker, looking upset. "They got to Marcus," Sophia said without preamble. "Jason's crew cornered him and convinced him to tell them everything about you, about your mother." Mei felt her stomach drop. How could he know? Marcus did some digging online. Your mother's death was in the papers. Not just the obituary, the whole story. About her past, the underground fighting, the investigation. Sophia's eyes filled with sympathy. "I'm sorry." Mei leaned against her locker, legs suddenly unsteady. This was her nightmare, her mother's reputation following her here. "There's more," Sophia said quietly. "Jason's planning something for lunch. Something public." Mei closed her eyes, feeling walls closing in. She'd tried so hard to be normal, to honor her mother's wish for a peaceful path. "What are you going to do?" Sophia asked. Mei looked at her friend. Because that's what Sophia was, she realized. Someone who'd chosen to stand by her even when it made her a target. "I don't know," Mei said honestly. "But whatever happens, I want you to stay away. This isn't your fight." Sophia's jaw set stubbornly. "Like hell it isn't." "Despite everything." Mei smiled slightly. "My mother would have liked you. What would she have told you to do?" Mei thought about her mother's teachings, the way she'd moved through the world with quiet confidence and hidden strength. "She would have told me that sometimes the only way to stop a bully is to show them you're not afraid," Mei said. "But she also would have told me to be smart about it." The lunch bell rang like a war drum. Students began moving toward the cafeteria. Mei straightened her shoulders and picked up her lunch bag. Whatever Jason had planned, she would face it. Not as the helpless victim he expected, but as her mother's daughter. The cafeteria buzzed with anticipation. Word had spread that something would happen at lunch. Mei felt eyes on her as she walked through the door, expectation pressing down like a physical force. Jason sat at his usual table, surrounded by followers. He caught her eye and smiled, not his usual cruel smirk, but something worse. The satisfied expression of a predator who'd cornered his prey. Mei bought lunch with steady hands, though her heart hammered against her ribs. Sophia joined her, finding a table near the windows. "Attention, everyone!" Jason's voice carried across the cafeteria. "I have an announcement about our mysterious transfer student." Conversations died as heads turned. Mei continued eating, feeling stillness settle over the room. Jason stood slowly. "See, I've been doing research on our friend Mei Lin here. Turns out she's not just any transfer student. She's got quite the family history." Mei's grip tightened on her sandwich, but she didn't look up. Her mother was Lin, Jason continued like a showman. For those who don't know, Mei Lin was a fighter. Not Olympic competition, the kind who beats people up for money in illegal underground matches. A murmur rippled through the cafeteria. Sophia's hand found Mei's under the table. "That's right," Jason said. "Our little ghost girl is the daughter of a criminal. A violent thug who made her living hurting people. Makes you wonder what family traits got passed down." Students pulled out phones, recording everything. Jason started walking toward their table, his entourage following. "The question is," he said, "what kind of person are you really, Mei Lin? Are you a violent thug like Mommy, or just a pathetic wannabe hiding behind a dead woman's reputation?" Something snapped inside Mei's chest, not anger, but clarity. She looked up and met Jason's eyes, and for the first time since arriving at Lincoln, she didn't look away. "My mother," she said in a voice that carried despite its quietness, "was a good woman who did what she had to do to survive." Jason's smile widened. "Oh, so you can speak up when it's about Mommy. Tell me, did she teach you any tricks? Can you fight, or are you all talk?" Mei stood slowly, and something in her movement made Jason's followers step back unconsciously. There was grace to it, fluidity that spoke of training and discipline. "I don't want to fight you, Jason." "Of course you don't," he sneered. "Because you're a coward, because I don't want to hurt you." The words hung like a challenge. Jason's face flushed red. The cafeteria had gone silent. "You hurt me?" Jason laughed, but there was an edge now. "You're what, 5 feet tall? I could break you in half." "Probably," Mei agreed calmly. "If I let you. You know what? I'm tired of your attitude." He moved closer. "Maybe someone needs to teach you respect." He reached out to grab her shoulder. But Mei wasn't there anymore. She'd moved not dramatically. Just a simple step to the side that left Jason grasping empty air. The movement was so smooth, it looked almost accidental. But Jason stumbled, thrown off balance. "Sit down, Jason," Mei said quietly. "Before this goes somewhere you don't want it to go." "Are you threatening me?" Jason's voice rose. "I'm asking you nicely to leave me alone." Jason swung at her, a wild, angry punch thrown from wounded pride. Mei could have countered it a dozen ways. Instead, she just wasn't there. Jason's fist cut through empty air as Mei stepped back just far enough. His own momentum carried him forward, and he stumbled, catching himself on a chair. The cafeteria erupted. Students gasped, laughed, phones appeared everywhere. Jason Brooks had just thrown a punch at a girl half his size and missed completely. "Is there a problem here?" Mrs. Henderson, the lunch monitor, finally intervened. "No problem," Mei said steadily. Jason was just leaving. But Jason wasn't leaving. Humiliation had curdled into rage. He charged at her like a bull, trying to tackle her through sheer momentum. This time, Mei didn't dodge. She planted her feet, lowered her center of gravity, and met his charge with a perfect sprawl her mother had made her practice 1,000 times. Jason's momentum carried him forward, but instead of driving Mei down, he found himself redirected. He hit the floor hard, sliding across the polished linoleum before coming to rest near the lunch line. The cafeteria erupted in chaos, screaming, laughing, chairs scraping as people jumped up. Mei stood over him, not gloating, just waiting. Her breathing was steady, stance relaxed but ready. For the first time since her mother's death, she felt like herself again. Jason looked up with shock, rage, and something else, fear. He'd expected a victim but found a fighter instead. Mrs. Henderson blew her whistle frantically, but the damage was done. The entire school had watched Jason Brooks get dropped by the quiet new girl. Mei extended her hand to help him up, a gesture that made his defeat even more complete. "Are we done here?" Jason stared at her hand, then pulled himself up without accepting help. His face flushed with humiliation, but beneath the anger, Mei could see him reassessing. "This isn't over," he said quietly, with less conviction than before. It is if you want it to be, Mei replied. I don't want to fight anyone. But I won't let you hurt me or my friends either. Jason looked around at the watching crowd, the phones recording his humiliation. His carefully constructed image had cracked, and everyone had seen it. Without another word, he walked out, his followers scrambling to catch up. Mei sat back down. As if nothing had happened, though her hands were shaking slightly. She'd broken her promise, not completely, but enough. She'd used her training, revealed her capabilities, but she'd also protected herself and Sophia. She'd stood up without seriously hurting anyone. Maybe that was what her mother had really wanted, not to never fight, but to fight with wisdom and restraint. For better or worse, Mei Lin was no longer a ghost. By day's end, the video had gone viral within Lincoln's digital ecosystem. Someone had captured everything, Jason's misses to his undignified sprawl. The footage spread through social media like wildfire. Mei discovered this when she opened her locker to find a printed screenshot taped inside, Jason flat on his back with her standing above him. Someone had written "Game Over" in red marker. Subtle, Sophia said dryly. More printouts appeared throughout the week. Some mocked Jason, others sensationalized Mei's secret fighting skills. The attention made her skin crawl, but there was an upside. Jason and his crew kept their distance. The downside came Wednesday morning in Principal Wallace's office. Miss Lin, the stern woman with silver hair, gestured to a chair. Please sit. Mei's stomach dropped. The office was exactly what she'd imagined. Motivational posters, diplomas, barely contained disapproval. I understand there was an incident Monday, Principal Wallace began, consulting a file. Multiple witnesses report you physically confronted Jason Brooks. He attacked me, Mei said quietly. I was defending myself. According to video evidence, Mr. Brooks never made contact. Yet he ended up on the floor. Sharp eyes studied Mei. That suggests expertise unusual for a 16-year-old girl. There it was, the question Mei had been dreading. I took some self-defense classes, she said, technically true. My mother thought it was important. Your mother? Leila Lin. I've done research since Monday. Principal Wallace flipped through the file. She had quite a reputation in certain circles. Mei's jaw tightened. My mother is dead. I'm sorry for your loss. But her reputation raises questions about your environment, the skills you might have acquired. The principal leaned forward. This school has enough problems without adding underground fighting techniques. I'm not looking for trouble. I just want to finish high school. I believe you, but intention and result don't always align. Principal Wallace closed the file. What happened Monday cannot happen again. I don't care who starts it. If you put another student on the floor, you'll be expelled. Clear? Mei nodded, though the unfairness burned. Jason could harass her, but if she defended herself too effectively, she'd be punished. After school, Jason waited by her locker. Alone this time, his face still bruised but calmer than expected. We need to talk, he said. I don't think we do. 5 minutes, in public. His voice was different, less cocky, more calculating. I'm not here to fight. Against better judgment, Mei found herself curious. What do you want? Jason stepped closer, lowering his voice. I want to know who you really are. A nobody special. Bullshit. Nobody moves like that without serious training. Nobody stays that calm without experience. His eyes were sharp. And nobody makes me look like an amateur unless they know exactly what they're doing. You're scared of me now. Damn right. But that's not why I'm here. Jason ran a hand through his hair. Look, I know I'm an asshole. I've made your life hell. But I need to understand what I'm dealing with. My mother trained me, Mei said finally. Not for sport, for survival. In her world, being weak meant being dead. So why didn't you shut me down earlier? Because I promised her I'd try to be better. That I'd find another way. Mei shouldered her backpack. Turns out some people only understand one language. Message received. Jason stepped aside. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. About your mother, about how I treated you. Mei paused, surprised. Why tell me this? Because I'm not actually stupid. I know when I'm outclassed. His smile was rueful. And because we're going to need to understand each other if we're both going to survive the rest of the year. What do you mean? Words getting out about what you can do. People are asking questions. Some aren't as reasonable as I am. Jason's expression darkened. This school has gangs, Mei, real ones. And they don't like surprises. Mei felt a chill. She'd been so focused on high school bullies that she'd forgotten the larger world. Her mother had enemies, people who'd held grudges, who'd seen Mei Lin as a threat. How long do I have? Don't know. Could be days, weeks, but they'll come. Jason started walking away, then paused. I hope you're ready. Because they won't be as easy as some high school asshole with anger issues. Alone in the empty hallway, Mei felt her inheritance settling on her shoulders like a weight. She'd thought she could escape her mother's world by changing schools, making promises about peace. But some legacies couldn't be outrun. Some fights couldn't be avoided. That night, for the first time since the funeral, she unwrapped her hands and began to train in earnest. If trouble was coming, she would be ready. Not as the ghost girl trying to disappear, but as Mei Lin's daughter, heir to a legacy of strength. And the knowledge that sometimes violence was the only language the world understood. The quiet girl was gone. In her place stood someone who remembered what it meant to be a fighter's daughter, and who was finally ready to claim that inheritance. The sabotage came Friday morning. Mei's locker was trashed, textbooks scattered, and torn, her clothes soaked with some foul-smelling liquid. A note was taped inside. We know who you are, little Lin. Your mother's enemies remember. Ms. Jacobs appeared beside her, taking in the destruction. This wasn't random, she said quietly. Come to my classroom after school. There's something I want to show you. That afternoon, Miss Jacobs led Mei to the old gymnasium basement. Inside, a small group of students practiced basic self-defense moves on worn mats. Marcus was there, along with 3 other kids Mei recognized as frequent targets. I've been running this program for 2 years, Ms. Jacobs explained. Teaching kids how to protect themselves, how to stand up without becoming bullies themselves. She studied Mei carefully. Your mother wasn't just a fighter. She was a teacher too, wasn't she? Mei nodded, throat tight. She said strength meant nothing if you used it wrong. These kids need what you can teach them. And maybe you need to remember why your mother's lessons matter. Monday brought the showdown Mei had been dreading. 3 older boys cornered her and Sophia in the parking lot after school, not Lincoln. Students, but the kind of predators Jason had warned her about. You're Mei Lin's brat, the leader said, cracking his knuckles. Time to settle some old debts. Get behind me, Mei whispered to Sophia, her stance shifting automatically. The first attacker rushed her with a knife. Mei sidestepped and struck his wrist, sending the blade spinning away. The second came with practiced boxing combinations, but Mei read his telegraphed punches easily, countering with precise strikes. To his solar plexus and knee, the leader was more cautious, circling like a predator. You fight like her, he snarled, cold, efficient. No, Mei said, helping his unconscious friends to their feet instead of leaving them sprawled. I fight like me. The leader backed away, suddenly uncertain. This wasn't the brutal beatdown he'd expected. This was controlled, measured, merciful. Exactly what Mei Lin had taught her daughter. Word of the parking lot fight spread like wildfire, but this time the reaction was different. Students approached Mei with respect rather than fear. The self-defense class tripled in size overnight. Even Jason sought her out, offering an awkward apology. I was wrong about you, he said. Your mother raised a warrior, but she also raised something better. Principal Wallace called Mei to her office again, but instead of threats, she found unexpected support. 3 gang members hospitalized but not seriously hurt, she said. Witnesses say you used minimal force, even helped them afterward. That takes real strength. Sophia grinned as they walked to lunch together. So much for staying invisible. Mei smiled back. Maybe invisible was overrated anyway. The self-defense program became Mei's refuge and purpose. She taught Marcus how to escape holds, showed a bullied freshman how to project confidence, helped Sophia learn basic strikes. Each lesson honored her mother's memory while forging something new. Ms. Jacobs became her unofficial mentor, helping Mei channel her abilities into leadership. Your mother's legacy isn't just what she could do, she said one afternoon. It's what she chose to do with her strength. Jason surprised everyone by joining the program, swallowing his pride to learn from the girl he'd once tormented. Maybe it's time I learned a different way to be strong, he admitted. The gangs left her alone after word spread about her restraint and skill. Violence without cruelty was a language they understood and respected, even if they couldn't emulate it. 2 years later, Mei stood at the podium delivering her valedictorian speech. The shy transfer student was gone, replaced by someone who'd found her voice through finding her strength. My mother taught me that true power isn't about defeating others, she said, looking out at faces that had become familiar and dear. It's about lifting them up. It's about protecting those who can't protect themselves. In the audience, Sophia beamed with pride. Jason sat straighter, his own transformation visible to anyone who'd known him before. Ms. Jacobs wiped away tears, watching her student become the teacher she'd always been meant to be. We all have strength inside us, Mei continued. Sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it's misunderstood. But when we use it with wisdom and compassion, when we remember that our power comes with responsibility, that's when we become truly unstoppable. The applause was thunderous, but Mei barely heard it. She was thinking of her mother, of promises kept and lessons learned, of the girl who'd tried to disappear and the woman who'd learned to shine. Some legacies were worth claiming after all. Up. Next we have 2 more incredible stories that are waiting for you. Just click the image you want to watch, and it will take you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. It would mean a lot.